Welcome back to my channel. So, in this episode, we'll be discussing about gross national happiness, but under the nine domains below the four pillars. As we discussed in the earlier episodes, GNH gross national happiness has four pillars, which are sustainable socio-economic development, environmental conservations, the preservation and promotion of culture, and the fourth being good governance. So, based on this, we have nine domains. What are the nine domains? Number one is living standard. So when we measure the country's development in terms of gross national happiness, the first domain is living standard. We have to see how well the living standard of the people are. Number two is education. The literacy rate is also important when we talk about development of a country. Is not only the development in terms of infrastructures, but education is important. Likewise, number three is health. Uh, in health, as we know, that it's one of the very crucial element in the humankind. So, for in Bhutan, education as well as health both are free from primary till tertiary. So can you imagine gross national happiness is that that's the fundament. If we want our people to be living healthy and living well, and that if the country is developed, then the living standard, the health, as well as education being important. The fourth one is, as we know, the second pillar is the environment conservation. The fourth domain is environment. We have to see how pristine do we take care of our environment. So if you come to visit Bhutan, you will see the lush green vegetation, and by the constitution itself, as we discussed in the earlier episode, we have to maintain 60% of forest coverage in Bhutan. Isn't it amazing? I must say, when we develop a country, everyone will be thinking about skyscrapers, transportation, let's say fast and prompt services. But at the end of the day, for mankind, environment is important. And Bhutan is one of the countries that have carbon neutral, or in fact, Bhutan is a carbon negative country. Can you imagine it? Number five is community vitality. As we advance, development is there, life changes, lifestyle changes, but we have to also ensure that the community vitality is there. Often in this modern world, we don't even know who the neighborhood is. In this regards, community vitality is important. Means we do have this kind of this traditional knit, of supporting and coordinating as well as cooperating. So if we talk about a family affair, it goes into the neighborhood. So community vitality is important. And the other thing is, as Bhutan is a very disaster prone country, community vitality also add value to it in terms of preparedness, disaster preparedness, and resilience. Number six is time use. As much as we talk about the physical enhancement, the product in development, process development, there's always time involved, and everything has to be in due course of time. Let's say if we need, for example, during the pandemic, Bhutan had only 21 COVID deaths. It's only 21 in numbers, but can you imagine the amount of services that were put in place? If those services were not there in time, can you imagine the numbers were going to rocket up because Bhutan does not have this high tech health services, but on the basic primary to tertiary health services it has been able to ensure the safeguard and protection of its people during the best use of time. So number six is time use. Number seven is social psychological well-being. Well, one can be living well, one can have, as much as he or she wants, let's say, in terms of the materialistic development, but the socio-psycho well-being is important, because if your mental is not at peace, remember, whatever physical physical uh, assets we have, it does not make sense. So in this regards, psychological well-being is important. Mental health is important at the end of the day. If your mind is not at peace, how much you have, there is no purpose. And we could also say this is in line with the state religion, Buddhism as well as Hinduism. But of course, at large, every religion talks about having peace, being well in the society and everything. So social psychological well-being is important. The eighth domains is good governance. Now, in the four pillars, the fourth pillar was good governance. Here, we further embedded and also expanded in terms of good governance. It would here we also talk about local governance. The overall, sometimes a government can have a good, strong political party, but the local setups are not good. So in Bhutan, the bottom to top approach, which is from community to national development, is being considered, where good governance is not only at the national level, but it is also to harmonize in the local communities. And last but not the least, the ninth domain is cultural resilience and promotion. What is cultural resilience? With time, with advancement, with development, there's always the modern enhancement and modernization. There's a lot of infrastructure development, there's technological development, but one of the main important indicators for gross national happiness under the four pillars of the nine domains is cultural resilience. We have to be resilient to cultural enhancement to ensure the preservation and promotion of culture is intact. So, dear friends, people, viewers, this is the nine domains of gross national happiness, from living standard to education to health, environment, community vitality, time use, psychological well-being, good governance, and culture resilience and promotions. So thank you so much for viewing. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you very much.